Welcome to Hanging with Gary.
Ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We're here on Hanging with Gary with Mr. Gary Hobbs.
Thank you, Johnny D. Thank you, Johnny D. Happy New Year to all our listeners, all three of you. Hanging with Gary. This is what, like episode 13 or something?
It's there you go. Number 13. And Gary,
yes, sir.
Before we start, happy birthday.
Thank you, Johnny D. Nice. Happy birthday to me. I've never really sang to myself like that, pero. Ladies and gentlemen, you're probably listening on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, or GaryHobbs.com. We appreciate you coming in, hanging with us on Hanging with Gary. Yours truly, Gary Hobbs, Johnny D, Johnny Davila, Little D, MIA.
MIA, he's working?
Yeah, he's working. He's on patrol.
Yes.
It's the sheriff department. I hope they don't call him, and there's some guys impersonating on Main Street, some podcasters drop by a bit. But you are listening to Gary Hobbs, Johnny D. Once again, we are in Eagle Pass, Texas, and my birthday. There yes. You go. No cake? Okay, it's okay. Sugarless, zero, algo. Hey, I had that idea last night. I was having this craving, like, you know, at my age, I guess you want something. Can I say sour and then something sweet? You know, something like that.
Sweet and sour, yeah.
Like you eat peanuts or something, and then you want pan de dulce. I don't know. But so it dawned on me: is there such a thing as a bakery that does nothing but zero bakery, like the sugar?
Mm-hmm.
I bet you it would hit. It may not taste like the real sugar, but some people can't eat too much of the real sugar.
That's why I didn't bring any cake. Because I dije, you know what? Pues it's a new year. We're all in a dieta. We're starting the video podcast soon. So, you know, we want to look good.
I know. I'm with you.
Yeah.
In that case, thanks, Johnny, for not bringing the cake. But it is a new year. Happy New Year. Let's remind everybody, on the 30th of December, we were in Edinburgh, Texas. And we were there for a 50th anniversary. And congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Danny Reina. They're such a wonderful couple. Oh my God, their hospitality and not just that they paid us very well. It's the hospitality. They're just great people. Big shout out to them. And then of course, December 31st, we were at the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino.
Yeah.
That's been 2 years in a row. What a blessing. Shout out to the nation and the Que Pasa Lounge. I want to thank Manny
Cordova.
And
his brother Victor, right there.
And his brother Victor. And well, they did a great job. But the band, you were there too. Thank you. Chris Romano was there on audio too. So thank you, Chris. It was a really nice New Year's Eve. It was pretty happy New Year. But happy New Year to each and every one of you. So with the new year came a new CD. We have a new CD out on Freddie Records. Legendary Freddie Records. They're out of Corpus Christi, Texas. And our new CD by the name of Scene Fiend, is out on all digital platforms. Hard copy will be in my hand within the next 2-3 weeks, we hope. That's what we were told. And we're looking forward to that. But it is on sale on all digital platforms. So you can stream on all of the above, right? Apple and Spotify. And
by the way, my hat's off to everybody that was part of this production, because I think that the CD is amazing.
Yeah, we're big bag ballers now. We're going after the big bag ballers. But we sure want to thank everybody that's been sending us the texts and the inbox messages and congratulations, and it seems to be up and going and running, and we're so thrilled and happy that we get all these people commenting on the songs. But which is going to take us to our segment coming up, because we're going to call, he doesn't know, but we're going to call the producer, and he better produce a segment for us, right? But this is Gary Hobbs and Johnny D on Hanging with Gary. We'll be right back. Johnny D and the OG.
The OG.
And little D, MIA.
MIA.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, on today's Tejano segment, we have brand new Gary Hobbs music. Today's show will be nothing but Gary Hobbs. Yeah. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Give it up. Hey, before I go on, happy birthday to a couple of people that special to us, of course. Mi tía Rosa Ramos celebrates the same birthday with me. Happy birthday, tia. I love you. And a very, very dear friend of my family, my wife and I, Happy Mireles. She's out of Arlington, Texas. Her and her husband, Sammy Mireles, dear friends of ours. We want to say happy birthday, Happy. We share the same birthday. We're Capricorns.
Can I also say happy birthday to somebody else?
Well, if it's today, yes.
Yes. Happy birthday to Rick Garza. He's my lead singer of a Play show band. So.
Happy birthday, Rick. Man, so he's a Capricorn.
Yes, he is.
We can be stubborn. Did you know that?
No quieren ensayar.
Happy birthday, Tia Rosa. Happy birthday, Happy. And happy birthday,
Ricky.
So, on today's Tejano, Johnny D, we want to showcase 2 songs from our new CD. Once again, the new CD is Sin Fin. It's on Freddie Records. We're very happy, and if I can use the line of the late Selena, estamos bien excited.
Excited!
Right? We're excited. But, so on the new CD, Sin Fin, first single is Daria. We featured it, and now we're going to do a little bit more. We're going to let you hear Daria, and we're going to let you hear another song. But I thought, now our producer on this CD, Hector Gutierrez, he's from Robstown, Texas, and Hector and I, we've been friends for many, many years. Come May 19th is my 40th anniversary. Yes, I said that right. 40th anniversary in Tejano music. And Hector's been there probably like 39 3/4, something like that, right? But and so Hector's produced a lot of our music throughout the years. The Un Momento is something, LP from 1988, something that always sticks out with me. But on this CD, it was something that Hector mentioned one time when we called him, that he thought that I had a little bit more input than, and I agree to a certain point, because I always tell these producers, okay, I select the material and then I kind of envision this, that, and once I see that my vision is there, then I let them do what they do. And unless it's something terribly going wrong, pues then I will voice that. But with Hector, we never have that problem. But so Hector had the chore of having to listen to me, and I wrote 7 songs on this thing out of the 12, and so we bring all this music to him, and sometimes not one at a time, and so he's got to listen to kind of what I envision, and then he's got to create. And he's got to create stuff that doesn't sound the same. And when you listen to this CD, it's just you can tell this man is gifted, right? And besides that, he's a dear friend of mine, and he's one of those guys that 10 o'clock the studio he's there about 10 to 10, you know? And last one to leave, well, with me too, right? But he's just that dedicated a person and professional in all aspects. Pero so what I wanted to do, I know he goes to sleep about 12 or something like that, but I want to call him.
Let's call him.
I want to call him. I want to prank him. Oh, I don't know what I can tell him, but okay, wait. Make sure I dial his number because I have him. I had him right next to Freddie Martinez Jr. I don't want to be calling Freddie. Hey, Freddie, you're on. I'm sorry, it's Hector, but okay, wait, Hector Gutierrez.
Get your Cheerio Bowls ready, Hector.
Let's see. Is it ringing? Is it ringing? I swear if it goes to voicemail.
What's up?
Hector G!
What's up, Hector?
Hey.
You're the next contestant on Hanging with Gary and Johnny D. We are recording, Hector, so be careful what you say.
Okay.
Hey, you know when
All right.
when we used to do radio, and we used to go to these interviews, and was you watch what you would say because they were listening to you, and now Hector, now they can hear you around the world with the internet, right? And it's amazing that So be careful what you say.
Well, I want to say hello to everybody in Italy and Germany and
Italia. Hector G, ¿cómo está finite la pilagre? Buongiorno. Hey Hector, was Happy New Year, and
Happy New Year.
And on behalf of the band and yours truly as an artist and as your friend, congratulations on Scene Fiend. I have had nothing but just compliment after compliment, and the whole production and stuff. I mean, so we wanted to call you and let our listeners, all 3 or 4, 5 of them, we wanted to send a shout out to you and just kind of like let's ask you just a couple of things. We know that we know as musicians that we look at material and so then we select stuff that we think we can do, and then I was telling the audience that that the truth is that I have like a vision of most of the things that I always select, right? And so I have this thing where I go to you and I tell you, okay, Hector, this is what I envision, or this and then and then it's your task to enhance that and elevate it, but then I was telling the audience, but the trick is that when you hear the whole project, the whole CD, and it sounds refreshing, the arrangements they don't sound like the same song, and I told them that's where the ticket is at. And so I mean, what would you tell our audience that how do you do that? Because it's Gary Hobbs, so you gotta try to make it sound like Gary Hobbs, and nobody really knows Gary Hobbs' music better than you do. But to have 12 songs like that and all of them original, and by the way, congratulations on Querida, because that arrangement, I know you have 2-3 versions of it now, pero Johnny was commenting that he really liked Querida.
Yes, I loved it.
But
well, thank you.
But
on that what you just said, I think we had this conversation before where I know a lot of the times when you do your projects or different albums, sometimes you don't have the input, right? I mean, there's been times where either me or somebody else, we run with the songs and then we bring them to you, and then you're at the mercy of whatever we deliver. And sometimes you like them, sometimes you're like, well, whatever, but it is what it is.
Oh, it was aight. It was aight. Right.
It's aight, you know. Aight. But in this case here, I think what's different on this album is that you did have input as far as like what you said, like we get together. Like this is the first time that we actually get together on every song, right?
Yes, yes.
The way we did it, that we got together, and for example, you said like the title cut, Fiend. You told me, give me a little something funky at the beginning. That's all you told me. And then for people that already have the album and have listened already and heard that song, if you listen to the beginning of Fiend, it has this little funky intro. Well, yeah, I came up with that idea, but originally you were the one that had the vision of what you wanted there. Yeah. So you just told me, give me a little something funky, and that's what I came up with. And then even at the end of the song, I believe, I want to say it is in Fiend, there's a kalimba sound on the end of it, right?
Yeah.
And I remember in the studio you said, give me a kalimba right there. And that's all you said.
I thought Earth, Wind and Fire, right? I thought Earth, Wind and Fire, they use kalimba. And I remember you were like messing with something. I go, give me a kalimba. And then that sound comes up and
yeah, and then I came up with that idea right there. So it was your vision of what you wanted, and then I just run with it. So it's a collaboration of mine, what you have, but then also you got to give credit to the people involved. Roger the accordion, Homero on the drum, Jay Alanis on the guitar.
Mi compadre Jaime Sámago,
Jaime
Mi compadre Jaime, bass and
also credit to Mariano Herrera on his
Mariano's phenomenal.
Querida. I mean, not Querida, on Quedaría.
Yeah, Quedaría.
Quedaría, especially,
And Eli Molina, don't forget Eli, because he did all the tracking.
Eli too.
Yeah. But
Eli did the tracking and the editing, and then Mariano did the mixing, mastering, and then he also had the musical input on a couple of songs there. So it was a good collaboration of everybody. But it originally started with me and you. We set the foundation, and then everybody comes in and puts their thing in it. So
I don't think people realize, Hector, the time it takes to do a complete CD, but we don't mention the 3, 4, 5 trips that you come to Eagle Pass and you spend a day and a half here, and so there's hours of this song and getting the key and we write some ideas and when I was writing some of those songs, the 6 to 7, most of them I had the lyrics or for sure a melody, and I hadn't finished writing it, but you come in and you do this trip over here, and then once you get that, then you run with the key, of course, and the idea, and then you match the idea and you elevate it and you make it sound pesado, and but once we're in, I think you're right about the collaboration. Going to Freddie Records and being at Legends, sound studios. Just everybody there, from Eli, you're right, and Mariano, what they do from tracking and the editing and mixing, even having Ram there, right? It's always and when Freddie Martinez and that's Junior, of course, but when Freddie walks in, he's our boss at the label, and he's an owner, but the owner doesn't just walk in and say hi and then he leaves. He actually stays there and he listens to stuff, and when he's got something to say, he says it, and he knows what he's saying, and so I want to give him credit also on the song Borrón y Cuenta Nueva, because that's his song that he wrote. Well, Senior, Senior. Yeah, Senior. He wrote it, Don Freddie.
And then, you know, we came up with that. We came up with that arrangement. But then also, he's doing that duet with you. But then I want to give him credit on the trumpet arrangements.
Oh, yeah.
Because, those arrangements, I played them. And just to let the audience know that they might think they're real trumpets. They're not real trumpets where somebody is playing the trumpet. It's those trumpets are from the keyboard, from my keyboard.
Yeah, and
but the arrangement, like, you know, I remember I told Mr. Freddie when it came down to we were going to do those parts, and I told him we were all there. I said, "Hey, Mr. Freddie, you come and help me with some horn arrangements?" And he was quick to do it. He never hesitated. He knew exactly what he wanted to do there, the parts. He just sang them out, you know, whatever, you know, he sang it, and then I played what he was telling me.
Yeah,
so he didn't hesitate at all. Those horn arrangements, those trumpet parts, that's all Mr. Freddie right there. Those were his arrangements.
Well, of course, he's legendary, and we call him Don Freddie, and I always call him Mr. Martinez, and he told me, no, please call me Freddie. No, Don Freddie. But, well, a lot of people probably don't know that he does arrange a lot of stuff. He's an excellent musician, but in less than 30 seconds, what kind of got me from Don Freddie Sr. was that, he agreed to do a collaboration with me. So that was a high in itself, right? But then for him to do harmonies on it also was like, I didn't even want to ask him, to do the harmonies. But so when he's going to do the vocal track, if you remember, I remember that, he was sitting there and then I guess he said, well, I can do the track if you need it. And so I remember that they were setting up the microphone and stuff, and he's in the control room. And so I remember that he kind of got up, and so I thought, okay, so they're going to set him up, and he's probably going to get a mic check and stuff, and Level go over through it once, twice. And so I said, I'm going to make one phone call in the hall, and then I started heading to the restroom just so I could do number one. Go to the restroom. Well, by the time I did the phone call and I went to the bathroom and I came back, the man had already done his track. He was sitting in the control room again, and I'm thinking, I'm not gonna pressure him. I'm not gonna ask him like, Don Freddie, are you gonna do this like now, or do we, or I was gonna wait for you to say, okay, what's next, right? And he did the track, and he did it like in a one take, and it came out
in one take,
and it came out great. And remember that movie? What was it that? Oh my God, Jerry Maguire! You had me at hello, but he had me at como la quiero. Right? But he did right.
I know, hey, that was like when you did that. I kind of got goosebumps. When you did that.
And of course, he wrote.
But then right after that, we did the horn parts. Right after that, I was going to do the trumpet parts, and then I had the Mr. Freddie, coming up with some horn arrangements.
I remember.
And he just spit them out like he didn't hesitate. He didn't say, "Well, let me think about something," or he already knew.
Yeah, he knew.
Part,
well, of course, he wrote Borrón y Cuenta Nueva, right? But it is. Going back to what we're saying is that just the collaboration, having, I think when you use the word resources, I think people think money, but it's the resources that are the personnel. So our hats to Freddie Records and all the staff, from Eli to tracking, and of course Mariano Herrera. What can you say? Musician, and he even sang some vocals there, and he came up with that, and he's just phenomenal. And a big shout out, brother Mariano, and to Ram and Freddie Jr., our boss, and Don Freddie, participation, and it's just a collaboration, and I'm so thrilled.
Yes, it was. This one was good because there was a lot of detail that was put into this one, as opposed to maybe other projects where they're just kind of done real quick.
Yeah, we took a long
and they
time.
come out okay, but this one took time, and there was more detail put into it, and I think the results show that.
Yes. Pues we're going to play the first song, Quedaría, Hector, and I want you to hold because I want to bring you right after it, Quedaría, because I want to speak about the next single, next song that I want to preview here on today's Tejano, Hanging with Gary, with Johnny D, yours truly, Gary Hobbs, Hector Gutierrez, our producers on the line, and this is Quedaría.
Decirte que te amo, tengo que pedirte que escuches por favor. Solo quiero expresar mis sentimientos, solo quiero abrazarte, besarte y amarte. Quedaría yo todo por tenerte aquí a mi lado. Déjame enseñarte mi vida y mis anhelos. Déjame entregarte a ti tus sueños y deseos. Decirte que te amo, tengo que pedirte que escuches por favor. Solo quiero expresar mis sentimientos, solo quiero abrazarte, besarte y amarte. Todo por tenerte aquí a mi lado. Déjame enseñarte mi vida y mis anhelos. Déjame entregarte a ti tus sueños y deseos. Quedaría yo por tenerte aquí en mis brazos. Lo daría todo por tenerte aquí a mi lado. Déjame enseñarte mi vida y mis anhelos. Déjame entregarte a ti tus sueños y deseos. Quedaría yo. Quedaría yo. Quedaría yo.
Well, that's Quedaría from our new CD, Sin Fin, on Freddie Records. Yours truly, Gary Hobbs. Johnny D. We're in Eagle Pass, Texas, and we have producer Hector Gutierrez on the line. Are you still there, Hector?
I'm here.
Hector, Quedaría. Just a little synopsis, I think, of... So I wrote that song, right, Quedaría, and and then you start doing the arrangements to it, and it's just sounding great. And the truth is, then we try to impose a little bit of that Tejano cumbia / reggaeton light stuff, and then Mariano listens to it, and then he starts to participate in it, and it just took off because the beats and the accordion part and stuff like that, and before you know it, we were looking at each other like, oh my God, this is sounding way above average, you know.
Yeah, it's something. I don't think you've done a cumbia like that before. I mean, you've had other cumbias that have been hits.
You mean you mean at my age I'm doing new things?
Yeah, but this particular song, it took on a different life because, well, a lot of that again has to do with Mariano because, yes, we went over the song and I laid the foundation down, the arrangement of how it goes, the chord structures and all that. But then Mariano comes in and then he puts a good punch on the reggaeton beat. He throws a real nice accordion part in there. The effects that are in that song,
yeah, that's phenomenal.
Different effects that are in there. That's just a different approach to the cumbias that you've done before.
You know, Hector, you know me for what, almost 40 years, and you know I'm not one to ever toot my own. I swear I was never going to use that word again in my life. Toot. I don't toot my own horn. I don't, I don't pat myself on the back ever, but I do give out the shout outs because it was a total collaboration on that song. And I mean, I wrote Que Daria, and when you start hearing the song, it kind of sounds like you're talking about somebody that you want to be with and you want to meet. But when you really hear the whole song, and it was really about me in a transition of it was really about me getting back home, wherever I'm at. So quedaría por tenerte entre mis brazos, quedaría yo por tenerte aquí a mi lado, stuff like that. But it is a total collaboration. We want to send a shout out and thank people that are supporting Quedaría as the first single. The problem here, Hector, is now that it's out on digital platforms, I mean, everybody's stabbing it, and they start to hear it. I have emails and text messages and inbox messages, and that it's a great CD, and that their favorite song is this, and their favorite song is that. And I mean, oh my God, I go, well, that's Freddie Records problem. Because, but we're so happy and thrilled that Quedaría is taking shape and form as a single. But now that the Sin Fin, the whole album, is on digital platform, it's starting to take its own life too. But and speaking of that, on this new album, Sin Fin, there's a song there, and was Johnny D is our producer and collaborator here on our podcast, and Johnny wrote 2 songs on the new album. He wrote Solo Mentiras, and he wrote Estoy Sufriendo. And I was mentioning to Johnny before we went on air that Estoy Sufriendo easily could have gone Tejano if I just, if I tell Hector, I need this one in Tejano, and you know what to do, and the chord progressions that is Gary Hobbs and blah, blah, blah. But we thought Estoy Sufriendo could go accordion, and that took on. But I want to talk about Solo Mentiras because, I mean, the first time I hear him sing, I love the song. And he put it down on a, I guess, I was going to say a tape, but that's not true. It's on the phone, right? I don't know. It's on the phone. And but when I hear it, I could easily envision him singing it because Johnny's a really good singer. And when I thought, okay, now I gotta sing it, and I know we got the chord structure, the key on it, blah blah blah, and then you start to work on things. And but Solo Mentiras, a couple of people have reached out to me and told me that it's one of their favorite songs. And so Solo Mentiras, Johnny wrote it, and Johnny wrote Todo Este Cariño for Cari Carina, and it went number one on several charts. And then shout out to Cari, and Cari's still doing well with Que Lástima. Congratulations, Cari Carina. And there you go. But Solo Mentiras is something that Johnny Davila wrote. It's on the new CD, Sin Fin, Hector. I want our audience to hear it, and then we're going to come back and we're going to discuss something on it. This is from the Sin Fin album on Freddie Records, Gary Hobbs. This is Solo Mentiras.
Una ilusión llena de amor y una traición llena de dolor. Toda mi vida yo había soñado con un gran amor entre tú y yo. Solo mentiras me diste tú, solo mentiras y un adiós, sueños perdidos por tu decisión y un gran amor que se perdió. Llegaste un día a mi vida, robaste tú mi corazón. Tú me decías que te habías enamorado de mí hasta aquel día que te marchaste. Solo mentiras me diste tú, solo mentiras y un adiós, sueños perdidos por tu decisión y un gran amor que se perdió. Un gran amor y un gran dolor.
That's Solo Mentiras, written by our own Johnny D on our new CD, Sin Fin, on Freddie Records. Available on all digital platforms. We have Hector Gutierrez on the line, our producer. And Hector, Johnny was telling me,
Yes.
Johnny, that was the very first.
They're the very first song I ever wrote.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well, it's a great song.
And you remember the lyrics? Because I don't remember like the first song I wrote, but was congrats on that, Johnny D.
you.
Solo Mentiras. Hector, do you remember how it transformed? That most of those, I know you used Jay Alanis on guitars and then directed it, and
Yeah.
I heard some effects and stuff like that. Of course, when I started hearing it, it was forming a lot of shape. But tell us the rest of it.
Well, what I like about that one, yes, on the guitars, because we wanted to incorporate guitars on some of these songs. so we're in the studio, and Jay has this little effect box, and when he was setting up, and they were just getting the level on his guitar and stuff, and he was playing, and he was kind of going through the different sounds or the effects that he had on the guitar, and I noticed there was one that he played, and it had like an arpeggiator. It sounded real nice, So okay, I heard that sound. Okay, so then we're moving on. So when we came to Solo Mentiras, and then in the especially at the very end, you can really tell at the very end of the song is and then it kind of just sustains, and then you hear this effect at the end, like the arpeggio. It's that guitar. I remember telling Jay, hey, right here at the middle or the beginning in the middle, do something in the guitar, but I want you to use that effect. So that's what Jay did. He used that sound. So that's what gave that song a different sound, was that guitar effect.
Just what went through my mind, because remember that first Batman movie and Batman says, Joker says,
where does he get those wonderful toys?
Where does he get all those toys?
Well,
exactly. Jay had the toys and the talent.
Toys, so. He was just fumbling. He was fumbling through the sound, and I remember he went through that one and he played. He was just jamming, and then he kept going through the different sounds. But that one particular sound caught my ear. So when we came to Solo Mentiras, and he was going to do a guitar thing at the beginning, in the middle, and the end, I told him, do that, but use that effect. And then he had to go. I said, there you go, that one. So we used that for the song. And I to me, that's what stands out in that song, is that guitar effect.
Yeah. Well, we Jay Alanis, of course, played bass, I guess 13, 14 years for Jimmy Gonzalez, Grupo Más. And Jay helped us out a couple of months, stuff like that with us. And he told me the story that he was hired by Jimmy, if I'm not totally incorrect, but he hired them. He needed a bass player, but he told him that I'm hoping that really soon I'm going to get off the guitar and just sing, and then you can jump to the guitar, because it's what Jay wanted to do. He wanted to play guitar. He had not played bass, I think, Tejano like that, but Jimmy told him, and the problem is that he never retired from the guitar, right? So Jay played the bass for 13, 14 years, and of course they're Grammy Award winners. But Jay Alanis is a monster at guitars and bass, and he sings lead vocals and harmony. And so we want to send a shout out, Jay Alanis, Kingsville, Texas, and thanks for participating with this recording, Sin Fin, and Hector, produced it and arranged that song, Solo Mentiras. Johnny, anything on Solo Mentiras?
No, well, it's a great song. You guys did a great job on it. I'm really proud of it, and I can't stop.
Well, we hope we did justice to the writers.
You
right?
sure did. You did more than that.
But it is a really good song, Solo Mentiras. It's on our new CD album, Sin Fin, on Freddie Records. Hector, my friend, I hope that you will join us next week, because we're going to be continuing to debut some songs.
Okay.
And who else better than you, our producer? And we've been promising people that we're going to video like really soon. And you wouldn't believe it, but it's been a long process just to get cameras in and all the stuff that is needed to go video, because we're going to be on YouTube and stuff like that. And we're going to probably record the first show, but then the second show, we're going to start going live. And that's a whole nother ballgame for us. And I guess as we go, we learn, right? But I hope you'll join us next week, Hector, on our show. I want to thank you for being with us. Any shout outs to anybody, Hector, before we leave?
Well, I want to just say hi to all the usual suspects, your guys in the band. And I want to say hi to them and congratulate them on the good job that they did on the album. And anybody out there, friends that are listening from around Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, from because we go way back, like you said, to the '80s, and I've made a lot of friends along the way, and we're still friends to this day, and they still support you because I know they still go out there to the dances, and so I want to say, send a shout out to all my friends that I've met you through the years, wherever you're at.
There you go. Big shout out. Big shout out. Parte Hector Gutierrez. And let's send a shout out. Homero Castillo on the drums. He's from Del Rio, Texas. And Homero's been here on and off 18, 19 years. And so he's on the drums on the new album. So thank you, Homero. Roger Salinas on the accordion. He's from San Antonio, Texas. Roger writes music, and on the last CD he had Maria Juana, something for his mom, and he did fantastic on this one too. We want to thank Roger Salinas. We want to thank Gabriel did some parts on the keyboards, Gabriel Gil.
Yes.
And so thank you, Gabriel. And we want to thank mi compadre Jaime Samago doing bass and vocals, backup vocals, and in all essence, I think he pretty much produced was the producer on vocals, because it's usually me by myself, and then I get to throw it into with my son Gary Lee. And on this occasion, I wanted to make sure that I had somebody right next to me to be able to check out all the lyrics, yes, and the pronunciations, yes. I'm big on enunciation. But then he double checked everything, and then it went to you to overall the producer. But thanks, mi compadre Jaime Samago.
Jaime did a great job. Jaime did a great job on the vocals. Great job.
And mi compadre, I don't know, he's been here on and off. I don't know, 25, 28 years or something like that. But so big shout out to all the usual suspects that participated on this CD album. Sin Fin on Freddie Records. On the phone, we have Hector Gutierrez. Thank you, Hector. See you pretty soon. God bless. Happy New Year and all that stuff. Puro love.
God bless. Thank you for calling, brother.
Thank you, Hector.
You have a good night.
Later, Hector.
So,
see you, Johnny.
Thank you, Hector Gutierrez. And this is Johnny D and yours truly, Gary Hobbs. We'll be right back. Before we leave, Johnny D, I know that was a long segment, but hey, we are so proud and pleased to have a new CD out. Sin Fin, Freddie Records, yours truly, Gary Hobbs. We're brought to you with Que Daria, our first single, Cumbia, and we also debuted Solo Mentiras, something written by Johnny Davila. So on behalf of Hector Gutierrez and yours truly, Gary Hobbs, big shout out. Thank you, Freddie Records, and everybody there. Shout out to Ram. Felicidades, Ram. New CD, brother. Felicidades. So you're listening to Hanging with Gary on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, and GaryHobbs.com. Before we leave, Johnny, I want to let everybody know that this Friday we are in Austin, Texas, la capital de Texas. We are at OK Corral. Yes, we are celebrating my 36th birthday. Wait. Okay, I got the numbers mixed up. Sorry. My bad. Like musicians, when they make mistakes and they're getting paid and they don't give a, and they say, oh, my bad. This Friday, OK Corral, Austin, Texas, celebrating yours truly, 36th birthday again. And Friday, Austin, Texas. Saturday, we are in Fort Worth, Texas. And we are at Insomnia, Saturday night, Fort Worth, Texas, celebrating again my 36th birthday. But big shout out to all the Tejano music family and friends out there. We love y'all. Johnny D, Little DMIA, yours truly, Gary Hobbs. We are hanging with Gary. We'll see you next week when it'll be another segment of Hanging with Gary. Nothing but Gary Hobbs, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week. God bless. Bye, Johnny.
Bye.
Welcome to Hanging with Gary.